Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: logically, morally, humanely, what should be free but isn't. Scientific papers / journals. The authors are paying to be published in the journal. The readers are also paying. The only one who profits are the publishing companies. Knowledge should be free. Also, the research is frequently funded by government grants and performed with the invaluable assistance of students, interns and volunteers. Therefore ultimately paid for by the public, who then are not even allowed to read the result without paying a privately owned publisher. Even more so. The author is usually an academic, so paid by the government pays so that the paper is written. The peers that review the paper are usually academic, so paid by the government pays a second time so that the paper is reviewed. The subscriptions to journals are paid by universities, that are funded by the government pays a third time so that the paper is read. Imagine you are homeless but at least you don't have to pay money to go to the toilet. That's a thing that is dying. What if I need to shit really badly but I don't have 50 cents on me? Pay toilets. Is that really a thing? That's how you end up with homeless people shitting on your lawn. It began with the public toilets where somebody sits there and wants you to put 50 cents in a bowl, and now some McDonald's and stuff want you to pay if you are not a guest. I've once seen a Turkish snack shop that wants €2 to go to toilet if you don't buy food. Shit next to the bathroom. Shit on the floor right in front of the pay meter. Transaction / processing fees when you order a digital product online. Such as a concert ticket, you pay $6 extra while you pay online, and then have to print the ticket yourself. I tried to order my birth certificate from one of the companies the state contracts. They charged the state fee plus a processing fee. Then they said it would take 60 business days starting after I submitted a authorized document, which that would be another fee. I cancelled immediately when I saw all that, and they still kept the processing fee. I was in and out of the county building is 15 minutes with my birth certificate. Convenient my ass. Oh man, I work for my state's construction industry division and people pay buttloads to this one company to help with contractor licenses, when all they're getting is a lady with that company turning in your paperwork for you. You can just turn it in yourself and save hundreds of dollars. We even have a notary in office that only charges $5 while this company charges like $200 to get anything authorized. This honestly always bugs me more. Because for ticket sellers, you buying online is actually cheaper, as they have to employ less people, not pay as much for their benefits, operational costs of running an office, etc. But yet, you're charged extra. One would think that given the cost saving, more sellers would try to push customers online by making it attractive. So, I used to work for a major ticketing company developing the e-commerce backed. All the comments about the actual scope of the team, below are reasonable, but the actual reason for those fees and all the others has little to do with costs per selenium, and everything to do with the fact that ticket sales involves multiple independent parties all angling for the biggest slice of the total sale price. Artists, managers, venue, ticketing company, access control provider, etc. All may be getting a specific portion of each sale. More to the point, the name they put on the fee may have nothing to do with who actually sees those coins. I was surprised to learn, for example, that the artist often gets a big portion of the fees, including convenience or whatever. The managers negotiate the contract such that the ticketer, for example, Ticketmaster, takes the blame for the markup and the artist looks good to fans. A similar game is being played by with secondary market, wherein blocks of seats are held for the manager to sell at a much higher price, though they were never available at list in the first place. Official college transcripts. You already paid for the classes and then they deny you access to proof of your education. It's not right. Was surprised when I was applying as a transfer student from a community college to a 4-year university, and had to pay to get my transcripts sent. Even worse, one of the colleges made a mistake and forgot to charge 2 Kelvin in tuition when I went there, which I was unaware of. Then they refused to release my transcripts until I paid the 2 Kelvin. I didn't have 2 Kelvin, but needed those transcripts immediately to get into my new college. Fuck that. I had to pay to release my transcripts from undergrad to med school to prove I had a bachelor's, even though I'm now in med school at the same university I did my undergrad at. I literally paid $45 for the school to email themselves. Fuck it. This pisses me off so much. Especially when you're just getting a PDF of your transcript emailed to you. Why should I have to pay $14 to get an email if my records? Motherfucking interrobang in the wild. Circus animals. An uncommon interpretation of the question, but I guess it is acceptable. You get an elephant, you get an elephant. Everybody gets an elephant. Water should be free. Nestle joined the chat. Don't get me started on them. TBH, this sounds weird, but death. Funeral services which require you to pay for cremating the dead, etc. are kinda weird to me. Funerals are big business, and people are dying to get in. This guy is a dad. I think the people performing the services deserve to be paid, but the prices are definitely way too inflated. Also $5,000 plus for a fucking wooden box to be buried in. What the actual fuck is that? I'm dead, chop me up and put me in a shoebox or something, shit. You don't even need to be in a box. You can opt not to be embalmed and buried wrapped in a shroud. This is part of why I'm aiming for mortuary school. My goal is to own a funeral home that offers lower cost and more alternative methods of burial, so to speak. I know it's a big dream, but I'm determined to accomplish it and at least make some sort of impact. Have you seen the Ask a Mortician channel on YouTube? The woman, Caitlin, is all about green and alternative funerals. She's rad. Hong Kong. Redacted. Data expunged. I have to say it gives me great hope for the future that as much as Reddit is all over the place politically, although it definitely leans left, the two things everybody here seems to agree on are: Epstein was murdered in his cell. China's government is generally up to no good, both domestically and internationally. Even communists hate China. Science textbooks. When a scientist gets published, he/she doesn't get any profit if the schools use it. Every textbook I've had hasn't been free, so I just email the publisher and find out one of the names, of whom was published, to email them. Since they get no money, they'll be glad to email you back the entire book, to which you can print off yourself. It's a life hack people should know instead of having to pay thousands for college textbooks. Edit, I did this with my calculus/geometry professor in ISU, Idiar State University, and he said that he only got one overall pay for being published with other professors, and that he would be glad to give it to me, as he would all of his students. I'm not lying. Thank you all and have a nice day. Edit no to, Thai SM for all the upvotees, I'm new to Reddit and well. What sort of email do you send them? Hey, let's stick it to the publisher, send me a copy would ya? Basically, yes. Hi, I'm interested in your work/book, but it is not freely accessible. Would be so kind as to send me the PDF version. Thanks. Works for both scientific publications and books. Keep in mind that these people were student once as well and probably hate paywalls on scientific knowledge as much as you do. I took a university class with a very famous physicist that everyone has heard of. He has been published several times, and I mentioned to him that I was interested in one particular subject that he's written about. He sent me an email stating I've written extensively on the material we discussed, here's an illegal copy of my book. Edit, guys stop upvoting me, this is just an account I use to complain about my roommate, I forgot to log out of it. I want the karma for my main account. So long as you don't misspell hey into hey fuckface. Official government documents that prove you exist. Birth certificates should be free. They are not. Driver's license and state ID should be free. They are not. Driver's license and state ID should be free. They are not. Especially if you're going to require them for voting, they need to be free. Here in Wisconsin, while driver's licenses aren't free, a state ID that lets you vote is free. Agree or at least make them super cheap, like £5 or less. Spent $90 for a WA license, it got sent to the wrong address, and because it is a vital document, they will not forward it, so I had to pay another $20 to get a new copy sent to my correct address. Using public toilets. I have been traveling around Europe for just over a year and it makes me mad I have to pay for that. Sometimes there's free ones, but more often than not there isn't. It's especially tough when you just arrive off a long bus ride or something that had no toilet or stops and the bus station is asking for money you haven't even had a chance to withdraw yet. I've even been into some shopping malls and department stores where you have to pay. Edit, I'm a girl, so peeing in a bush or something isn't such an easy option. Also don't want to get fined or arrested for indecent exposure or something. Edit. I also understand they need to be cleaned. I guess I assumed like in most other continents / countries a city council etc. would generally pay for this upkeep like they do for the people who empty the public rubbish bins or similar. I loathe it too. The excuse is always that it costs more to maintain and they are usually in better condition. There have only been a handful of times where this is the case. Most of the time they look exactly the same. I'm going in to pee, not to meditate. Yeah, they often say it's cause they provide toilet paper, but I usually carry my own now because of so many times where there was none.